Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Really, the story, as I said, is both symbolical and realistic. The story to build the fire. This man went into a journey into a very horrible, absolutely horrible weather, which is complete snow and very, very, very cold. And it was about 50 degrees below zero. So how can you travel in a weather like that? And here this man is, I think, crazy enough to challenge nature, and that's why nature killed him. Very simple. He was killed by nature. And I think the idea, as I said here, the main theme of this story is, as I said, the question of, naturalism, realism, determinism, even fatalism, even nihilism, because you are killing yourself here. You are challenging nature, you are challenging superpower, metaphysical power, and you can't challenge nature. Water and fire and natural elements, no man can challenge, these natural elements. And I think this man here made a terrible mistake. And that's why we say he killed himself. And that's why we say he's talking about fatalism and nihilism, as if he was really annihilating himself, killing himself. Of course, he was not committing suicide. I'm not saying he was committing suicide. No. He thought he was powerful. He thought that he can go. And really the story here is related to this. Especially, we have the man here in the story, a man and his dog. And the dog, as if the dog was telling him, don't go. Don't travel in this weather. This weather is horrible. Snow, ice everywhere, snow. And the man said he can do it. The man said he can do it. Of course, that's really the wrong thing about it. And let me check one thing. Yeah, here I'm reading this from another, let me. Yeah, I will resend you, because this is, I highlighted this for my survey, as I said, survey course. And it's the same thing. I send them the same thing. So here I highlighted these ideas, and it's it's good that I have it here with me so I can show you that. And as I said, I will send you this as being highlighted. Okay. Really, the whole idea, it's good. Yeah, I remembered I've done this to my ex-class or my previous class. I was saying that he got with him his dog. And the dog, the story is saying the dog really was more sensible by sorry?
The screen is black. Is it just
I see. Wait a minute, because this is stupid thing about sharing. So you have to share. Yeah, thank you for telling me. I thought you can see it. Yeah. Yeah, here again. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, doctor.
Very good, very good. Yeah, very good. Now, the story, as I said, the dog, this man, only we have, as I said, the narrator telling us about this man, and even we don't have his name. Just say the man, and the dog. As I said, it's to do with this question of naturalism and question of realism and and all this, as I say, determinism and fatalism, blah, blah, blah. Now, the dog by instinct did not die, did not die. He went back and he ran away. The dog ran away and saved himself or itself, as if to say that the dog by instinct was more sensible, was more, knowledgeable than the man. So here the man is shown, if you like, as really a weak creature, someone who lacks a lot of things that nature really, has given us, but sometimes we don't know how to use them. And I think the narrator here really the writer really made it clear about the contrast between the dog and the man. The dog even did not want to go, because when he said, when he started the journey, the dog was angry, because as if to say, I'm not going with you, As you can see here, I think in this way, notice here the idea about that here, as you can see, but all this, the mysteriousness, far-reaching hairline trail, the sun, the description of the absolutely miserable weather, absolutely miserable. And this man, the idea, really, the story, that this man was a stranger to this area. So if you are a stranger to a place, you should not venture. You should not venture, because you will kill yourself, because you don't know the place. And this is really, again, the idea. Notice here the question, I say, the strangeness and weirdness of it all. Again here, he was a newcomer. And again, he was without imagination. He could not think, And notice here, if you like, the whole thing really, is symbolical. The whole idea has a lot of implications and significances, as you can see here. The man, notice here, I think the story really tells us, as I said, all this is narrated by the third person narrator all the time, and giving us a lot of details and commentary and if you like, all the judgments. Notice 50 degrees below zero meant 80 odd degrees of frost. Such fact impressed him as being cold and uncomfortable, and that was all. It did not lead him to meditate upon the frailty of a creature of temperature and upon man's frailty in general. Again, this is the idea that man is weak. This is the idea we say, man's frailty. Because we people are really weak creatures. Look at us, for example. Look at us. The whole world is terrified by coronavirus. Isn't it? We are terrified by a little unseen virus called, this, corona thing. We are very weak, and this is the idea, frailty. You see, really, this is the question. People should accept and should admit that we are weak. That's it. We are weak. We are humans. We have limits. We have limits. We have limits. And this is what he said. Narrow. We live within certain narrow limits of heat and cold. Yeah. We can't survive in all miserable conditions, And the narrator here is explaining this really in a nice way. And notice here the dog. I want to show you the idea about the dog. At the man's heels trotted a dog, a big native husky, the proper wolf dog, gray coated and without any visible or temperamental difference from its brother, the wild wolf. The animal was depressed by the tremendous cold. The animal was depressed by the tremendous cold. He or it knew that it was no time for traveling. You see, the dog knew that this time of terrible cold is no time for traveling. Its instinct told it a truer tale than what was told to the man by the man's judgment. So here we see that the dog's instinct is more powerful than the man's own mind and wisdom, because the mind's supposed to have judgment, supposed to have a mind. You see, we say that God really created us as being refined creatures, refined beings with brains, to use our brains, our minds, as if to say, you know, dogs or animals use their instinct. They don't use their mind, if you like. Maybe they have, of course, in a way, they have, but not, I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I don't know. I can't say anything about it. But the idea I'm saying here, that the writer is telling us that this dog knew that this is not a good time to travel, full stop. But the man, you know, used his judgment and said, yeah, I can go. You see? And this is it. The dog did not know anything about thermometers. And I think this is lovely. The dog did not know anything about thermometers. Possibly in its brain, there was no sharp consciousness of a condition of very cold, such as was in the man's brain. You know, this is the idea. The writer really here is comparing in a funny, unbelievable, dramatic way to say, come on, man, you have a brain, you have a mind, use your judgment. The dog is saying to you indirectly, because the dog did not want to come with him and did not move. And the man started to kick his dog to say, come on, come. And really the dog did not want to. The dog did not want to. But you see, dogs are faithful. Dogs are faithful to their masters. They would follow. They would follow. They would listen. They would obey. And I think this is unbelievably true. Unbelievably true. The dog here in the story, really, we are told that he did not want to go. Yeah, somebody asking me about term papers all the time. Anyway, so notice here, the dog had learned. Oh, did I lose connection? Did I?
No.
No, doctor, it's clear.
Yeah, because I have some, I don't know. Anyway, notice the dog had learned fire, and it wanted fire, or else to burrow under the snow and cuddle its warmth away from the air. You see, even here the writer really, and by the way, this is science, and that's why you see here naturalism. And that's why I gave this to my students in the American survey, because this was an example about the development in American literature to move to realism and naturalism, and really to this question of, you know, reality as it is, and nature, and how man faces nature. You will find me in those videos I gave to my students, you will find that really emphasized all the time. Okay, so if you like here, really this is, you know, the main idea I wanted to pay attention to. Oh, again, did I lose? Did I lose? No, I don't know what's wrong with this. It's telling me all the time as if I lost connection. Okay, notice here. Notice here, the dog did not want to move. Look at it here. The dog dropped in again at his heels with a tail drooping discouragement. The dog did not want to go, as if to say to his owner, come on, man, don't go. This is not the time. As the man swung along the creek bed, the furrow on the old sled trail was plainly visible, but a dozen inches of snow. Anyway, he started, of course, you know, this, and as I said, he heavily paid his terrible price. He built the fire first, and then the fire then was, again, this is his inexperience. He built the fire under a tree, and the tree had a lot of snow on it. And then suddenly one branch, you know, fell down and all the snow came over on the fire and immediately killed it. And now he wanted to rebuild another fire and he could not. He could not. And he died. He died. And the dog, and of course there are a lot of drama about it. I will tell you, you know, later. He even tried and tried and tried, but his hands went completely numb and he couldn't move. Even he wanted to kill the dog to use his skin to warm his hands, but the dog knew that he's going to kill him. And that's why he ran away a little bit and then he came back, because he thought that the man is going to kill him to warm himself. And the dog, as I said, by instinct knew that the owner will kill him to warm himself. And really, this is the tragedy. The dog knew all the details, whereas he didn't know. You know? It's really amazing. Notice, there was nobody to talk to. Had there been, speech would have been impossible because of the ice muzzle on his mouth. So he continued monotonously to chew tobacco. The man here, as you can see, he was, you know, as I said, the main thing really, he was arrogant, absolutely arrogant, thinking that he can do everything. And that's really his mistake. That's his terrible mistake, which killed him. Arrogance. Okay? And you can see here, he started chewing tobacco, thinking that he can warm himself. Notice. Once in a while, the thought reiterated itself that it was very cold and that he had never experienced such cold. But you see, he did not care. Because again, later on, the idea that he was told by one man who is an old man in the area, told him, my boy, don't travel at this time. You will kill yourself. And the story really is, again, don't travel alone. Isn't it, boys? Boys and girls, where is my... do we have here someone called Ismail, or maybe I'm wrong? No? Where is he? Maybe in the other group, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, the idea really, the story is saying, don't travel on your own. Never venture, never travel in a dangerous place on your own, because this will lead to really disaster. Because you will have, maybe sometimes you will have I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know. I saw a sign as if I have muted myself, but it's not. Yeah, it's okay. So you can hear me. Good. So the story really is telling us, again, I think this is one of the absolutely wrong thing, that if you don't know a place, and if the weather or any condition is very, very maybe strange to you, or as we see here, dangerous, don't travel on your own. Take somebody with you. You need company. And here the story tells us the dog is not enough. To have your dog is not enough. The dog will not help you like a man, or like anybody, a man, a human being. And really the story here is this, again, is part of the arrogance, saying that I can travel on my own. So this idea really is mentioned in many places, if you like. He wanted to build a fire, and the panic and so on. Here, for example, he started really to think that the way he was walking, even sometimes the way he was walking in the snow, he said he could fall into a ditch because he can't see, because everything is covered with snow. You know, nearly, as he said, 70 or 80, I don't know, centimeters, or I don't know what, of deep snow. Notice, again here, he compelled the dog to go on in front. You see? The dog knew more than him. And you know, this is really funny. And I said this to my students, I remember this, and I think you will hear it in the other video. I'm not going to repeat it for you. It's really a real story in Saudi. Any one of you was in Al-Hajj or Al-Umrah? Anybody here?
Not me.
Not you. Yeah, the way, because I was in Taif for 15 years, the way from Mecca to Taif, you know, you climb up really very, very high zigzag way, you know, a mountain which is, the people said, I did not really calculate them, because many people said, is about 166, you know, curves and zigzags, because the mountain is really very high. You drive from Mecca up towards Taif, and then you drive towards east, towards Riyadh. It's a very mountainous area when you reach Taif, and then the land will stretch in a flat, really flat land towards Riyadh, which is about 1,000 kilometers. But I'm saying here that this road, when they built it, really they depended on a donkey to tell them how to build the road. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, that's what they told me, because the name of that road really today, and I said this to my other class, and really this is amazing, because here man depended on animal to lead them, to lead the way. Dogs or donkeys or animals can tell, I don't know how, but this is the idea, say that by instinct, and that's why they named the road, they named all this road down from the beginning of the road, down in the valley, climbing up the mountain, reaching to Taif. This area is called Al-Hada area, Al-Hada, but the road they call it, you know, Tariq al-Kurr, which is, you know, it's the donkey's road. And I said, why do you call this? Because they said, you know, the donkey, you know, led us to know where is the best way to build the road, which is really amazing. Yeah. Here the dog did not want to go, but you know, notice he compelled the dog to go on in front. The dog did not want to go. It hung back until the man shoved it forward, and then it went quickly across the white unbroken surface. It made quick efforts to lick the ice off its legs. Notice here the dog is so intelligent how to clean itself from the ice, get his feet frozen, then dropped down in the snow and began to bite out the ice that had formed between its toes. This was a matter of instinct. It merely obeyed the mysterious prompting that arose from the deep crypts of its being, you know, and so on. Really, this is the lovely story. As you can see, I will send you this, all of this. I will send you that, you know, maybe during this weekend. I will send you this edition instead of the one you have. I will send you this one, the highlighted one, and I will send you also the videos I have for my survey course. Okay, and that's why really I want to stop here really, because it's the same thing. It's repetition. I'm not going to repeat that. Maybe I will give you